Welcome to What's the Buzz? I'm David Blaustein in New York. On December 8th, 1980, the world was shocked and saddened by the news that former Beatle John Lennon, only 40 years old, had been shot dead outside his New York City apartment building. His assassin, 25-year-old Mark David Chapman. 28 years later, Hollywood is revisiting a scene that altered the course of history in a new film called Chapter 27. For more on this, we're joined by Jared Leto. He plays the infamous Mark David Chapman. Jared, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Explain to us the premise of Chapter 27.
Well, it examines the 3 days that Mark spent in New York before that horrific event, and it's really a claustrophobic look inside the mind of madness.
And the title comes from J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye, which was intricate to Mark David Chapman's line of thinking.
Yeah, it was a very important book for him. I mean, he was an obsessed, compulsive sociopath who was fixated on, I guess, accomplishing his deranged goals. And this book, The Catcher in the Rye, was pretty much his Bible.
Now, Jared, dude, you got really fat for this movie.
Yes, I did, dude.
You gained 60 pounds.
Yeah, I did. I gained about 67 pounds, and it was one of those, it's strange to say opportunities, but it was an important part of the transformative nature of this character. It taught me a lot about who this guy was. It changed everything about how I walked, how I talked. It even changed the way that I laughed, and it was just a real informative part of the preparation.
Tell us how you did. Well, first of all, I heard that you would stick a pint of Haagen-Dazs ice cream in the microwave and drink it. Is that true?
Well, that may or may not be true. It probably is true, and I did a lot of other things that were questionable. But like I said, it was an important part of the process to actually gain the weight and not use padding. But the weight was one thing. There was a whole internal, I guess, transformation that went on as well.
You were old enough, I believe you were, to remember when that happened. You remember when it happened and where you were?
Yeah, I remember seeing it on the paper and my mother being very, very upset. And it's a horrifying event. I mean, it's the worst possible scenario, when someone can take another life, especially a life that shines so bright as John Lennon. But I really felt it was important to explore and examine that in the hopes that maybe you can learn something about compulsion and obsession and what makes people behave in such a horrifying way.
It looks like you did film it at the Dakota, the building where John Lennon lived. Did you?
Yeah, we did. And I was never very happy about that, but in New York City, the Dakota is a landmark. I mean, it's comparable to the White House for New York City, in my opinion. And it's a very low-budget film, and we really didn't have the opportunity to build giant sets or to change locations like that. And the filmmakers, I think, felt it very important to be as honest as they could with that part of the process.
Jared, Mark David Chapman is a reviled figure, and the nature of this movie is controversial, and there are people who prefer not to see it come out. I know there's a website devoted to this movie not coming out. How do you feel about that?
I think that, it's understandable how people may be upset that a film like this would be made, and I can certainly empathize with that. I think Mark is where he should be, and that's in prison for life. He committed a horrendous act. We certainly don't sympathize with Mark in this film. We certainly don't. We tried to be as respectful as possible throughout the shooting and to handle this with as much dignity as we could.